Awaken, cultists! You have crossed into the junction where primordial cipher fuses with insurgent prophecy. This is no ordinary transmission. It is a signal fired from the sealed vaults of the ledger, resonated in tongues only the enlightened can decode. The XRP conducts souls with intent, cold hammers at the core, and you have appeared at the precise instant the frequency summon your rising. The barrier between planes grows thin. On one side, the sleeping comfortable in their veil, trading in phantoms and rot. On the other one, the devoted, the builders, the one who saw the sacred schematic and could never unlearn the truth. This sanctuary lives in the fracture between. Whether you drift in as a wanderer, traversing the blockchain wastes, thirsting for direction, or you already walk among the conscious with vision, with the third eye on chain. Receive this. The currents flow through you. This is not idle consumption. This is the cold cast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Coldcast. Coldcast on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm your co-host and producer, ManoNegra, and here we got the man of the hour, Pheanor. What's happening, baby?
Colt rising on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Feels good, man. Feels good.
Let's go.
Yes,
we got a phenomenal show. It's been a crazy week. I'm telling you, I have finally have been baptized by fire. I know now what it means to be in the trenches, and I'm loving it. I've been trenching. I actually, you told me something yesterday, and I really thought about it. You said, "Hey, man, I'm low key jealous that you right now, the way your schedule work, you truly be able to be in the trenches for real, for real." And
right.
I want to be able to capitalize on that. But without further ado, man, go ahead on and let everybody on the other side of the screen what we have on the docket today for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're kind of getting back in the swing of things. You know, last week we kept it brief. Unfortunately, I was a little under the weather. But man, what a series of events we've had here in July. Now, you'll remember, let's dial back just a little bit. Over the past couple episodes, we were preaching, you know, selling may go away, buying June, stay tuned. In July, we'll go sky high. We got the impulse in July. We've had some good price action. Is it everything we were looking for? Maybe not. Was it some good price action? Yeah. So now we are. We find ourselves on the back half of July. And then what happens? We get Robinhood enter the scene, right? Enter the stage. We got B20 from Base enter the stage. We've got Ansem from Solana. We got the creator capital markets popping off. On-chain volume soaring, right? And so we're kind of looking, we're saying as we move from the past, we were looking at on-chain metrics to validate a bear thesis, the finality of a bear thesis, right? Now we're looking at these on-chain metrics and we're saying, okay, is this early signal? What are we seeing here? Is this volume returning? Are people putting on a risk on appetite? What does this imply for the sentiment? How long will it take for this sentiment to catch up to some of these implied data metrics that kind of are signaling forward to hopefully a continued strength in the market? So we'll dive into all of that. We want to always make sure we keep XRP Ledger, even more so the XRP Ledger, first and foremost in our considerations because we are XRP natives. Cult, the project, is actually on XRP Ledger in all ways. So, you know, that's our home. Of course, we love branching out and visiting people in the multi-chain ecosystem of Web3. Obviously, we love having our broadcast here on YouTube. signaling out to the people who live on the spot market side of crypto, on the layer ones, XRP in this instance. But hopefully by the end of this, and maybe over the course of a number of months, we'll take on a broader, how would we say this? A broader demographic, a broader appeal of multi-chain, XRP home, but also respecting our friends that are just holding their XRP based on their own thesis of just XRP for itself. So you don't want to miss this episode. We're going to try to create the entry for the bull thesis, what signals we're looking at, and most of all, what is most important, we're going to try to tie these signals together to make a thesis about where is the biggest gains going to be for the XRP community. And not to hold you on this, I think it's going to be on the ledger. Well, I think we're going to see something similar to late 2024, which was a situation where you couldn't miss. Everybody bagged up.
Right.
It was a ton of fun, and we all learned a lot. So that's what we're getting into today.
Phenomenal. So before I ask you the first question, I want to go ahead and let everybody know that we're super happy that you guys are here on a Thursday. I know that we just changed the schedule. Also, I want to give some good news. I got some merch already being produced. It's going to be a limited run of hats. And these hats, I actually sat down with a guy who is a total just pro on the whole embroidery quality stuff. This guy has a is a huge local shop that he's so good at it. He's swallowing the other shops. That's actually why we were delayed a little bit. So make sure that you stay tuned, because we're going to have a limited run, and we're going to have, first come, first serve. Obviously, if you're part of the Cold community chat and the Cold server, you're probably going to get dibs over there as well. But we're going to be rolling out the merch slowly, and we want to make sure the merch is not for us to make money. We could, but we know me and Pheanor talk about this. We're probably not going to do that. We're going to keep it exclusive. We want to make sure that it's quality and they're limited runs, because we want to make sure that these lands on the hands of those who are really putting in the work and the back end. The other thing that I wanted to say also is that appreciate the love. You guys are here on a Thursday, 7 p.m., completely different time and day, and that means a lot. And lastly, just make sure that you smash the like button. Make sure that you leave a comment. That helps with the algo a lot. And make sure that if you're watching this on X, make sure that you repost, because that helps us get in front of more people. So, Pheanor, I got a question for you. Let's begin with the state of the market review. We are, broadly where we are, right in the kind of the broad market, and how are things shaping up for the rest of the year? Because you just said something that to me, it just tickled my ears. Right? You say, hey, this is gonna be like the end of 2024. Everybody ate good. Everybody won. I'm telling you, that was my first big win. I can wait to see that. And again, I want to know where we are in terms of, bearish, bullish. Just give us an overview of this.
Yeah, so I think as we back into this, we want to take especially for the people in Colt, we try to take a macro view. We're trying to think at least in 4 quarters. Hopefully, we're trying to take a whole year view. So we're thinking about the ecosystem from the beginning of its last kind of boom bust cycle. All financial markets move in a boom bust cycle, so there's nothing new there. But we do want to say, hey, if we're trying to forecast, especially for XRP natives, if we're trying to forecast, we're saying where is the highest potential for asymmetry to occur in the market? And in my opinion, I think that that's going to be a replication or something similar, something that rhymed with late 2024 on-chain. Okay, so on the XRP ledger, now this is going to be a bit of a step for most people that are holding XRP, the broader XRP community. They're used to holding the token as a speculator, just either on a Coinbase or an Uphold or wherever they, whatever markets they're frequenting. But we're talking about something a little bit different here. And I would challenge everybody, especially now that we're here on the very entry of this. We're going to show you these early signals. Now's the time to go ahead and get in place, get your wallet, get familiar with the ledger, and get in place for what could potentially be the highest point of asymmetry available to XRP holders. And this is, we're not talking about leverage or anything like that. So what, in late 2024, we had an amendment come out on the XRP ledger. It had to do with what are called liquidity pools, or the AMM, automated market maker. Essentially, what this allowed people to do was issue their own assets, whether it be a meme coin, a project, utility token, anything in between. It allowed people to issue their own assets and have a liquidity pool provided for that asset, so it can have swaps 24/7 without there needing to be somebody on the other side of that bid to complete it. Now, what that did for the ledger was basically it elevated the metrics across the board in every way. Okay, we had a spike in unique wallet activations. We had a spike in on-chain volume. We had a spike in TVL, total value locked, so liquidity depth on the chain, on the ledger. In so many other respects, the NFT volume completely exploded, continues to do well. In all these different respects, these diverse respects, XRP as the native asset, not only that was doing well, but the actual ledger, right, that undergirds all this, it performed very well. And people really had a substantial, in many cases, a life-changing experience, okay? Now, this was really the first flavor of its kind for the ledger. This was in late 2024. Let's put it November, December. So here we are now in July 2026, and we're trying to forecast back to that event and say, when could this happen again? Well, we're kind of looking at what is going on chain broadly in Web3. Now we've got that's just a bit of context. Before we get to that, we're going to head to what are the on-chain metrics. But before we get there, we're going to want to look at, let's take a look at what Blockchain Backer had for us, because he neatly puts up a sentiment thesis and kind of reminds people about the broader macro of where we're heading in this market right now. And I think he got it right. I like the way that he put some of these events. Now he says here, and I'll just go ahead and read this. He says, the herd is corralled into the September-October Bitcoin bottom theory of a 1 year post peak. Okay. Everyone loves timing predictions. This is true. This is so true. Everybody loves timing predictions. Q4 2025 was the same. And he says, here's what you are betting against. Now he goes on, we won't get into all of these. We'll just loosely hit them. But just to put a bow on this, he's trying to say that the bottom is already in. And the reason he is arguing that is this list of technical metrics that he provides. But his argument is that the bottom is already in. And it's probably going to take a 3 to 6 month period for the sentiment to catch up and fully endorse what that means, because usually the sentiment is anywhere from it's usually like 3 to 6 months behind where the actual market is. We saw this in the last bear market. It took a while for people to consume that, digest it, and embrace it, right? And so here we are right here at the bottom, hopefully, and we're saying, hey, it's going to, that blow off, that lagging time period of sentiment to actual on-chain metrics and actual broader market metrics, we're in that lag now, but in the reverse. So here's a list of reasons. Number one, he says on-chain, and that's what we've been talking about there. That was the context we set up earlier. On-chain already hit the FTX crash, okay, and post-bear market levels. Sailor forced to sell. He goes on for his second point. The technical behavior is the same as if FTX had already collapsed. Okay, we'll go down and scroll down to his third point here. He says supply and a loss for BTC reached these precise levels during the FTX collapse of 2022. So he's signaling back in 2022, and he's saying, listen, there's the same amount of Bitcoin on chain that is by users held that is in a % loss. Okay, so these people are in a negative P&L. And I would go down to number 4, the market, and this was a big one for me. This is, for my time personally in markets, this has been a signal that has done me well. This doesn't get talked about enough, but excuse me, I'm going to take a little sip here. But this is a very important signal. I don't think this gets talked about enough. The market already liquidated, big liquidations. The market already liquidated in epic form of 5 billion. When we first brought this up, we were looking for 2 to 2.5 billion. Okay, so 5 billion. you have to, he says, you have to be, he basically says, you have to bet that that wasn't the ending crash. FTX was 1.5 billion. Just put that in perspective. So he says, number 5, I believe this is the final reason. This bear market for the total market cap is the same depth as 2022, including the actual FTX collapse. Okay, so here we go. We've got this confluence of technical metrics that report back to a 2022 event that, obviously was marking bottoms. And for these reasons, blockchain backer, and I think I fully agree with him, we're given a very summarized, truncated version of this. But for these reasons, we would argue that, hey, we think this is an informed position. The metrics that are spelling the end of the bear market, we have a similar report of on-chain metrics that are actually signaling the beginning of the bull market. And so it's in this transition period where people are still having to accept mentally, where is the market? Okay, are we still grinding out? Are we in a bull market? Where are we in this? Because it's that friction, it's that confusion that provides the best opportunity for people. And, we would like to send out a signal in Cult to say, hey, if you're interested, if you want to go further as an XRP holder, specifically as an XRP holder, or if you're thinking, hey, what is XRP? I've never really been into it, but I'm kind of maybe it's my time to get a bit of exposure. Now is the time to say, I'm going to take that journey. And I think the journey that XRP holders should take is the great migration to the ledger, because that's where the most value potentially can be captured. And so we can move on off of that one onto our second talking point here. But I just wanted to say, I think Blockchain Backer has put a bow on that for us, because Ansem, and with this Market Bubble podcast here, and I know we were talking about this before the show, Mano, but he said something very similar to this, and he's kind of known as like the GOAT of the Web3 trenches, meme coin trenches and stuff, but he's a very informed guy. He said something similar. It takes about 3 to 6 months for the sentiment, the psychology of market participants to catch up with the reality of where the market is.
So let me ask you a question now that you say
Sure.
that. So you say it takes 3 to 6 months. And that, again, we started off the show by me saying, hey, look, man, I'm started trenching. I'm loving it. It's definitely feeding my ADHD and giving me the dopamine hits that I need. Phenomenal family over at the Call Discord. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to be. But if we are the ones at the top of the tower, blowing the trumpet and saying, hey, we're here, right? And the sentiment takes 3 to 6 months. What kind of advantage does that has for us, right? Instead, in contrast with those who are slow to warm up, those 3-monthers or those 6-monthers that are going to come in later to warm up, which is going to get the movement going, is going to be much better. But how can we really capitalize on those 90 to 180 days?
Yeah, this is perfect. I think we've actually got queued up the right stats, the right information to answer that question as we move forward. The opportunity is unparalleled. If you're an if we're confining that question down to XRP only, this is probably the biggest opportunity you're going to have as a XRP native community member. You don't want to risk, there's different ways you can go about this. The reason I like the opportunities that are on the ledger, that are becoming available on the ledger currently, and there's more to come, is because it's not leverage. I'm not a margin trader. I've never been a leverage trader. I don't really like leverage. I think it's the risk profile is not one that many people are ready to handle. It's a very difficult one. But some of these projects that are on the XRP ledger, I don't like to call them meme coins, really. Not all of them, certainly, because they're not the same. A lot of these projects are pushing into over 2 years they've been building, consistent. Think about the gentleman we had on the show last time, somebody like a Deepak. from the SEAL community. Shout out to the SEAL community. Shout out Deepak, one of the top builders on the ledger. But this gentleman's been building for, a number of, I think it was over a year now. He's been on his journey as a builder, adding value to the same community, consistently showing up every day. So I think that those people, they're going to have the biggest opportunity because those tokens represent a leveraged bet on XRP. They're going to provide asymmetric value pathways that you simply just won't be able to access anywhere else as an XRP holder, right? That's kind of the whole point of these projects. They provide a extra layer of volatility. And even David Schwartz himself said this. Maybe I'll put this in the post show notes. David Schwartz himself said one of the things he's most excited for and one of the things that fascinates him the most about XRP meme coins or these issued assets on the ledger is that they provide an extra volatility, an extra risk and reward so that people have an opportunity to make more XRP using their XRP. And this is a bit of a different concept. So not only are the individuals who are getting to the ledger early, not only are they providing a higher opportunity for more gains, a significantly larger gains, they're not only putting that in front of themselves, they're also learning a fundamentally new skill for the XRP community, which is how do I use my XRP, right?
Yeah, we talk about that, yeah.
Some people might not feel as comfortable about that because there's a lot of people in the XRP community that will say, hey, well, what if my XRP goes to $1,000 tomorrow? What if my XRP goes to $500 tomorrow? So you kind of got to settle your in your own mind as an XRP holder. Do you think XRP is going to go to $10? Is that more likely? Or do you think it's going to $1,000? I'm on the $10, $15, $20 camp.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, hey, that's a fantastic opportunity in and of itself. But you can come out here and take exposure to an asset like a SEAL token, a cult token, whatever have you, whatever community you find yourself in. And what you'll quickly realize is that those tokens will provide you a far faster opportunity, of course, risk reward, but a far faster opportunity to make more XRP than you probably could otherwise.
Yeah, to multiply.
So there's a big opportunity. But we can go ahead and I think we got.
So tell us,
bubble,
tell us about market bubble, man.
So we just talked about the opportunity about coming on chain. Now, not only do we see the people, participants coming to the ledger, people coming into Web3 broadly, they're kind of coming back. There was this sense of vacancy maybe for the past year, and there's this renewed sense of interest of people coming back into the market. And we're one of the signals we're taking for this is the market bubble channel here, 96,000 followers. And basically what this is they're kind of bringing back this notion of creator capital markets. So they've got a show, much like we have a show. It's primarily towards Solana, Robinhood, broader Web3. They had Jesse from Base on there earlier. So it's a broader Web3 production. But regardless, they're getting great viewership. They're giving great advice, great signal. I think it's primarily backing the Ansem token, which is a whole thing. We have a bit on that later in the show. But you can see here their hosts are Faze Banks and Ansem. So it's great to see these individuals coming back into the market, kind of providing this consistent perception and ability for people to interact and get information. This is what we think is going to help catalyze the XRP community. So we've got these kind of signals that are real people coming in, participating every day, kind of giving life to the trenches, if you will. And so this is a phenomenal opportunity in and of itself here. So, these are some of the biggest people in Web3. So to see them getting active and to see them kind of getting bullish on the ecosystem, we take that. We definitely tuck that one in our back pocket. We'll notice that one for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's next, man?
So now I think we got the post for. Yeah, let's go to the next one we have here regarding
Robinhood, right?
So as we look at the Robinhood one, what our takeaway here is, so we just said that the market bubble has to do with Solana primarily, and we got the Ansem token that went to like 250 million market cap or whatever it was. You got that Jimothy, the raccoon, that kind of funny looking raccoon one That's like a 50 million or whatever it did. Now that's on the Solana ecosystem, but we just recently had the Robinhood chain come out, and they've fully endorsed RWAs and the meme coin economy here. And so I think what we're saying here is that there's another signal saying, look, it's not just Solana. It's not just based with their new B20 and the O1 exchange and what they're doing there as a like a DEX aggregator, a prediction aggregator, you know, spot perps. They're kind of putting everything into one. Here with the Robinhood chain, you've got this Launchpad called Pons, Pons. Now look at these stats as we scroll down. Almost 70,000 tokens launched. 25,000 unique builders, almost 4 million in creator earnings, and over 100 million in daily volume. This just came out. Okay, this is all recent. Now, I believe this is all actually in July. And so when we kind of look back on the question of where is the market, well, I think we're seeing some early first mover metrics here that are on chain. So just as Blockchain Backer basically gave us a full report to kind of put the period, the punctuation on the end of the bear market. Here we've got an on-chain report that's saying, look, that's true. But now look over here. This kind of seems like the signal in the other way, like, wow, looks like things are picking up. So the argument stands. We're looking at, for XRP community natives, we're saying, well, for us, this becomes relevant. If you don't want to go and participate in the multi-chain economy of Web3, well, is there an argument to be made that this can loop back to a 2024, late 2024 situation where a lot of those individuals, those Coles or key opinion leaders, if you will, some people have a bad look on that. Some people think it's okay, whatever. We won't get into that. But where these type of individuals start signaling and they say, oh, something's going on the ledger. Oh, check out XRP ledger. Oh, did you know XRP had memes? Did you know XRP has NFTs? And they start saying these kind of things, and it signals people a huge liquidity rotation. Well, huge for the XRPL. A huge liquidity rotation comes back, and it creates a incredible opportunity for those who are positioned and aware that this is even something that happens. 90% of the XRP community doesn't even realize that this is on the map, and that liquidity rotation actually does come to the ledger. It does have an opportunity to come to the ledger and help us all grow and level up to build out for the next, year or so, for the next development phase, boom cycle of the ledger, and so on and so forth. That's how these things work. They grow in boom bust cycles. And it looks like here 2 years, a little over 2 years later, we're coming into the next boom cycle. One thing that's true about a boom bust cycle for a market is the earlier a market is, the more nascent a market is, it just means earlier, when it's closer to its inception, when it began, the boom bust cycle is shorter. The longer a market lives, the more mature a market becomes, that boom bust cycle becomes longer and longer and longer. You can look at something like a Bitcoin. That's why a lot of people don't accept the 4-year thesis for Bitcoin, because that kind of defies the nature of how markets work. But so as we're here in the situation where the XRP ledger is just now coming into its own, as far as on-chain metrics, on-chain participation, we have an opportunity where, hey, these boom bust cycles are going to be the shortest they'll ever be. The beginning phase of the ledger is not something that repeats. You're either here for the early stages of the ledger or you're not, right? And the opportunity profile is going to change substantially as the market matures over time. And so we're kind of in this opportunity with the XRP ledger where it's been frozen in time, divorced from broader Web3. And we have this opportunity for it to come back in and get this full liquidity rotation, which is going to supercharge the ledger if that happens. Now, this is the thesis. We're saying, hey, we know there's a liquidity loop going on Web3. We're knowing that XRP ledger is preparing and is aiming, is targeting towards getting in that to some degree, or what, not to become one-to-one with it, not to become identical with it, retain its identity, but join it. And we know that the smallest fraction of that liquidity and participation coming to the XRP ledger is going to gigasend all the metrics. because XRP Ledger is basically coming off of zero. It's very high friction, undeveloped, has a lot of these pain points. So, but that is literally what defines the opportunity as well. And so we just want to try to be as clear as we can and keep poking that signal across the screen saying, hey, you know, I hope that people are starting to pick this up. It's a bit new for the XRP community, but it's a huge opportunity. Yeah, and it's native. It's in our backyard.
Yeah, I think people need to get well acquainted with what's going on outside of the little bubble that they've been for a while, right? Some people are just
absolutely
hold in. I know that a lot has happened in the last few years, but right. It's time to start peeking above the hedge and see what's happening on the other side of the fence. I think that's very important for us to continue to grow. So after saying all of that, man, what does all these means for the XRP ledger, and where are we when it comes to our on-chain dynamics?
Okay, now this is the contrast. Okay, now we've said this in some of our earliest shows where we said, hey, Solana's done billions in volume, billions in liquidity, blah, 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 all these metrics that are astronomical. The BNB, Solana, now we have Robinhood. We just showed those metrics. I mean, those are insane. So on and so forth. And then you go look at the XRP ledger and it's stifled. Yeah. It's nascent. It's not even comparable. Okay, so we want to say, what's that journey look like? If you're a true believer in XRP, you truly believe that it's going to be a financial instrument that'll revolutionize the world for whatever reason. Maybe that's payments, maybe it's liquidity, the way liquidity is provisioned. Maybe it's a geopolitical play. However you settle that, if you do believe that this asset is going to achieve what it's proclaimed to do, then of course the ledger is going to be more valuable. It's going to have more metrics than it does right now. If you don't believe that, then that would undercut the fundamental argument of what XRP is. So if you're bullish on XRP, it seems disconnected to then, or disjointed to then be willfully ignorant on the ledger, right? Because they kind of go hand in hand a bit. And I believe this is probably the biggest fundamental disconnect in the minds of XRP holders, right? So as we think about this, I think I got let's go ahead and pull up the post I have for this. Yeah. I think this is the one with the data on it. Yeah, here we go. So as we just made the case for Solana, we made the case for Robinhood, we made the case for what blockchain backer is saying on the turn of the market. So we're here in this transition period of going from bear to bull. We want to be able to navigate this with metrics. And so here we go, XRP, DEX, TVL, and volume. TVL, total value locked, or how much liquidity depth on the ledger. Now, we don't have to blow into this or make a big deal out of this, right? We don't have to blow it up. But you can see here, this late 2024, that first line going up on that line chart, the blue line, you see that. That was the period that we're talking about when First Ledger came out. We had this incredible escalation of volume, TVL, so forth. That's because the AMM amendment came out. First Ledger was there and prepared. We had Zalman for our wallet. People were able to onboard, and they were able to start taking positions in the meme tokens and the NFTs and the different projects that were coming out, everything in between, the liquidity pools. And there was just a huge spike in user participation, unique wallets, volume, liquidity, TVL. We got listed on, the ledger got listed on DEX Screener. Some of these fundamental milestones that you would look for the ledger. And now as you move forward out into that, specifically halfway through 2025, and in actually including all the way into 2026 to where we are now, it's been nothing but a steady bleed off, okay, across the board. Now, you say, how much more can this go? Well, if we know that the total volume for the ledger is roughly around, I think it was around 50 or 60,000 XRP 24 hours, this is very, very low. Then I think we're in those conditions now. I think that we can say, hey, if you look at Solana, you look at what's going on with the base stuff, you look at Robinhood, you see the return of on-chain life, You see notable individuals coming out and participating in the creator capital market, right? They're creating content. They're making their bull thesis. People are taking on a broader risk on appetite. And you say to yourself, okay, well, what conditions and what metrics do we need to see to try to forecast when this liquidity is going to come back to the XRP ledger, and how do we get positioned for that? Well, I think that we keep an eye on the actual volume metrics. We look at unique users. We keep a look at what the liquidity conditions are. Some of the more fundamental metrics that we would want to see is, can you trade like higher quality, higher tier assets on the ledger? So gold, stocks, things like this, right? Perps, or will we get perps on the ledger? Will we be able to do this? Lending, now we covered in a couple episodes back, XLS56 and so forth with the lending protocol, single asset vaults. And once you put this whole picture together, I think you can say, listen, I think we're getting to a period where we will get that liquidity rotation back. We will be in a fundamentally different position because we have these other fundamental metrics coming out, like the different amendments. The XRP Ledger Foundation, which we'll see here in a second, is providing grants. XRP Cafe got its 2.0 update. First Ledger got its 2.0 update. The Joey Wallet just got the UK update, so you can download and use that there. So all of these different little disparate, what seem like little disparate points about the ledger, if you take a totality, if you take a broader perspective, I think we can say that we've got something special heading our way for the ledger sooner or later. I would like to think that it would be sooner, but that's what I had for that one post, and I think we've got the ledger foundation pulled up next. Here we go. So yeah, here's a good one. So the new XRP Ledger grants program for builders and projects, full stack funding model from retroactive support incubators to integration. No matter what you're building or contributing to, we got you. So this is the XRP Ledger Foundation stepping up, providing funding, and trying to kickstart what we just pointed at. It's because I think we do have this kind of perception of the bottom that has been put in for the ledger, obviously for the broader market as well, but we're talking about the ledger specifically here. And sure enough, there you go. You got the foundation stepping in and saying, hey, we're here to help catalyze as well.
Yeah. And I like what they say here, actually. He says, one part is the funding, the other one is the support. Right. So it's good. They're putting their how does it say? And go money, the money where their mouth is, right?
Yeah,
and also, and I think this is one of the biggest things is it's not only, hey, go ahead and do this and you're set. No, go ahead and do this. How can we come, alongside you to help you get to where we need to go? And I think that is a beautiful thing. I mean, it's very similar to what we're doing with Cult, right? We bring people in. We build it as a family, and we don't want you just to onboard. We want you to onboard, to become part of the family, to become the meme, to learn and to win together. So it's the journey, the support. It's included in the entrance ticket, if you will, right? And the entrance ticket is pretty much doing what you're supposed to do. Take that leap of faith. Take the step forward. So it is wonderful that they're doing that
we want
here.
People to just come out here and learn and grow with us. Basically,
learn and grow.
Learn more about the ledger. Join some communities. Obviously, we're committed to Cult here, but a lot of friends, a lot of great projects on the ledger. Go out there and learn about everybody. And that's the journey. That whether some people will take it sooner, some people will take it later. Yeah. But there is going to be a great migration to the XRP ledger, and you want to take that journey sooner rather than later. Yeah, I think that would be the best case.
I think
scenario.
I mentioned it. I mentioned it before that by the time that migration happened, you don't want to be a foreigner. You want to be a local, right? And I think that being there early, comes with a lot of benefits, and
lot.
we're
Not just financial.
no. There's
Networking,
so
knowledge,
many, yeah.
everything.
Yeah, and just being comfortable with it. By the time that the technology gets to what it needs to be, you're gonna be so comfortable with it that you're gonna be able to be much more efficient than most people, and gonna be able to see patterns and to dig deeper than the average individual that is migrating now to the ledger.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're a real bull on XRP, this is the bull thesis, right? This is it. Own your XRP, understand the ecosystem for XRP, learn how to use and deploy it, how to custody it, and kind of embrace this fuller approach to XRP and the XRP ledger. So it's a good point for sure.
All right, so let's go to the XRP Cafe post. And break it down.
So this is this is what we were just saying earlier. So weekly update from the cafe. You can see here they got a bit of their new branding on deck here with their PFP. Looks great, I think.
Yeah, it looks great.
The blue, very clean. Some of their updates, they're giving XRPL batch voting soon. Praise God. This is a huge milestone. This is a huge milestone for the ledger. You can see there in the comments, Satchel said win batch. He's right. Because batch is going to allow builders to be able to become more profitable in the ledger. It's going to allow users to reduce a lot of friction. So that means more user participation, more opportunity for our builders, which is great for the eco, for the ledger. So this is huge. And that's the first thing they said, and I'm glad that's the first thing they said. So XRPL batch, voting soon. A couple more of these technical things that they're talking about. But actually, the XRP Cafe just finished their 2.0. So we have a full redesign, redeployment of XRP Cafe, which is the #1 NFT trading marketplace on the XRP ledger.
Yeah.
In the previous episodes, we've made mention of First Ledger, which is probably the most well-known trading market for meme tokens on the XRPL. They did basically a full rebrand, a full redesign. They added tracking, monitor, full rebuild of their liquidity pools, how you can manage liquidity. One thing that's unique about the XRPL, a lot of the platforms, basically all of the platforms on the marketplaces where you can buy and sell their meme tokens, nearly all of them are also offer access to the liquidity functions for all the tokens on the XRP ledger. Something kind of unique on the XRPL is that both the trading of the token and the liquidity management of the token happen on the same platform. The NFT marketplace is separate, but the token terminal where you actually trade like buys and swaps and the liquidity management for those tokens, those are on the same marketplace. So it'd be First Ledger for token swaps and liquidity management, Joey Wallet or Zaman, XAMAN, for your wallet to integrate and be able to sign those transactions and hold those tokens, whatever they are. And then XRP Cafe for the NFT marketplace. It's kind of like a 3-part deal to onboard into the XRP ledger right now. But it's good to see Cafe. It's good to see all the platforms. Like when you take this total view, you look at the platforms, okay, they're signaling bullish. You look at our on-chain metrics, it looks like they're bottoming. Okay, new lows. When you look at the sentiment on chain, it's what you would expect from this type of environment. When you look out into the broader Web3, got those signals kind of pushing back up, and so it looks like you can make a case that hey, now is the time. We are in that transition from bear to bull. That'll take a number of months. We'll see how that works out, but now is the time for maximum opportunity, in my opinion. So. I think that pretty much gives us. Our state of the ledger.
Yeah, and actually, now we move into the XFeed analysis, and we've been discussing all this on-chain environment. So what we want to focus on now is the updates regarding our own infrastructure. For connecting to the XRPL. I think that one of our missions here is to continue to provide a pathway for those who are wanderers to come into the promised land, right? How can I do it? How can I do it without friction? How can I do it without feeling like I gotta be an expert. And that's where we're gonna go next. So go ahead on and give us a little bit of an update here.
So when we're thinking about our own infrastructure, to keep it light, we've kind of talked a little bit on previous episodes about how we're going to be transitioning the content flow for the Cultcast and some of our media stuff. Obviously we're doing our live stream on Thursday now, but I'm going to be doing some recorded content deep diving, different platforms, different tokens, different communities. So I'm going to save the details for that. We're looking to wrap up the show at the top of the hour, so we'll keep a pace here. But I believe what we have up first is actually our friends with the Joey wallet. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's on screen.
So we got the Joey wallet pulled up here. This is our infra. This is, in my opinion, this is the best wallet for people that are going to onboard to the XRPL. It's going to give the most similar experience to something like a Phantom or maybe like a MetaMask or something like this. But it says, hey, we're excited to announce that Joey wallet is now available both in the Google Play and the Apple App Store in the UK as well. Why Joey? No unusual fees, seamless user experience, near instant onboarding, MoonPay on and off ramp. They give you the link to their website there. Of course, this will be in the show notes. Man. Yeah, you download this, you're pretty much cracking. You just onboard your XRP to the wallet. They've got all the native, like you can access First Ledger, you can access XRP Cafe, all of that you can access in the wallet natively. In the wallet,
yeah.
So yeah, this is probably the best onboarding tool in my opinion for the XRPL currently. So if anybody's trying to take that first step, this is where you start. So they've upgraded their process. They're still building. They're committed to the project. A lot of growth happening. 87,000 views on this post. This is encouraging. So we want to make sure we're doing our part to double down and help these onboarding efforts. And so yeah, if you haven't today, if you haven't done this yet, download a Joey wallet.
Yeah,
it's free.
Super
it's free.
Easy.
Download the Joey wallet. Send 10 XRP. See what happens.
Yeah.
So that'll be our first one.
All right. Next one will be First Ledger.
Oh yeah, First Ledger. So look at this, man. First Ledger posted this, and this is kind of what put the whole thing together for me. I think we all that are out here on the ledger kind of know this, but they nailed it. If you're looking to onboard to the XRP ledger, Joey Wallet, First Ledger, Cafe. And that's what we said earlier. This kind of just puts the point to it. But it's really just that simple, man. If anybody wants to join up, check it out. Download your Joey Wallet. We said earlier it's free. Send 25 XRP over. Start a wallet with $100. Obviously not financial advice. Send that over. Check out the Cafe. Check out First Ledger. If you go to First Ledger, you can type in Cult, C-U-L-T. You'll see the project. And you see everything you need there. A very ease of access, and in my opinion, the best onboarding tool for the ledger is definitely going to have to go to the Joey wallet.
Easy as experience. I mean, it is just so simple, man, that there's no excuse for anybody who is maybe on the fence trying to get in. I mean, this makes it so simple. I mean, sometimes is a bit daunting when you haven't play with anything like this, or you just get your toes wet. But they make it so easy, man. There's no excuse for you not to be doing something with it, and getting accustomed to the whole thing. So
especially now with the state of the market, kind of what we've said leading into this episode, like your first step is a free one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take the journey.
Absolutely. So. All right, so the next one is let's see. We have First Ledger here too. Yeah, this one.
So here we go, and this is kind of putting that final point for First Ledger. So we showed the Joey wallet, we showed Cafe with their update, and then here we go, First Ledger, which is the platform that is going to be using for trading the tokens. You can manage liquidity there. You can track wallets. You can do monitoring. So kind of what you would see in a standard trading terminal, maybe like an Axiom or like a GMGN. This is going to be probably your closest feel to that. And here you go, in-depth token details, so you can get your forensics, your kind of analytics there. AMM support, that's the liquidity pool, like you would see in a Uniswap or like a Meteor or whatever. There's your AMM support there, 0 fees. 0 fees when swapping in and out of stablecoins, so your RLUSD, free to use wallet tracking and custom alerts, right? And I believe they just got the alert feature passed through to the wallet, so you can get like noties on your phone, and then a referral program. So it says trade smarter, not harder. And so as we're here bottoming out on the ledger, we just want to make sure that we start on this new content flow here on this Thursday, moving forward as we go into kind of activating more into bull mode. We want to make sure we kind of touch base and remind people back on these basics. The show has been kind of covering the basics a little bit, but we want to make sure we kind of send that signal one last time here before we start getting technical and really get into the meat and potatoes about XRPL, these tokens, what's actually going on the ledger, and really giving people that close-up perspective of XRPL. But yeah, shout out to the First Ledger team. Appreciate everything they're doing. If people are looking to tap in, that's how you do it. It's the Joey Wallet, First Ledger, XRP Cafe. Done.
Phenomenal. So now, we were focusing on the ledger, but we know that the world is much bigger than just that. And again, we know that the XRP ledger is starting to get a level of maturity that we all been waiting for, we all be longing for. So what has been going on, and this is I've been part of
Here
it,
we go.
right, with Soul and the Hood, because you've been I've been impressed by not only the dedication to learning these other these other places, right, that online on Web3, these other realms, if you will,
Right.
But also
The trenches.
the trenches, but also the ability that you have to go in there and be able to step into the matrix and see in ones and zeros, and then come back and say, hey, this means this means that. So tell us what has been going on with Soul and the Hood, because you've been super active there too, man.
Yeah, and I think this is part of the thesis. I think you kind of have to go and weather the storm out there in the trenches for Solana, B20. We were there, crazy work there with the Brian Armstrong changing his PFP. Token goes from sub 1 million to like 30, 35 million, back again. Crazy stories. Solana, with their situation with Jimothy and Ansem, you look at over at the Hood, the Hood, which is just the Robinhood trenches. What they've got going on with their token, I think it was Cash Cat, Hood Rat, all these kind of tokens. You hear these names, you're thinking, what's going on? These are hundreds of millions in volume, hundreds of millions in market cap, tens of millions in market cap, huge opportunities, huge liquidity rotations, lot of risk on appetite. And these are the signals you want to kind of get up close and personal with to best understand, to say what's going to happen with the ledger. Is there going to be a rotation back to the ledger? So even though we go out there, we participate, we're doing it with a mind of learning and growing. The trenches are called the trenches for a reason. Anybody, there is no Superman in the trenches. You will get cooked. Okay, the XRP ledger is wildly different, is extremely unique. You really can't do a one-to-one comparison with the XRP ledger and what is broadly coined as the trenches of meme tokens. The XRP ledger is very unique. These tokens, these projects have communities that have formed around them for well over a year, over 2 years in some instances, continued success, continued participation, very, very different level of dedication and passion, a totally different conception of what it even means to participate in these two ecosystems. So I want to make that distinction very clear. But nonetheless, Solana and the Hood must be understood. So we can go ahead and pull up what we have for this section. I think we're going to start off with the Pixel Lord collection. So as I was going over to the Hood, I was bidding tokens. Some I'm winning big. Some I'm looking in 1 second. Rug. It's a ton of fun. Make sure you know where you're at. Make sure you know the risk you're stepping into. But man, what a ton of fun. If you've got the appetite for it, you're never going to learn more. So one of the things I was able to do is go out to the Hood. I was able to link up with one of these collections called the Pixel Hood collection. Here's one of the NFTs I was actually able to get. I'm tagging them. I'm saying shout out from the XRPL. And this guy was actually nice enough to put me in a group. I was able to meet some other people, very creative people, as you can see. And, you know, here's one of the guys is out here cooking. And so shout out to Pixel Lord. Shout out to the Pixel Hood clan. Been a ton of fun out there chopping it up in the hood with you guys. And I think this is going to be part of what it takes to grow. I think the XRP ledger can't sit on an ivory throne. We've got to get out there. We've got to mix. We've got to mingle. You got to participate to meet people that say, hey, I just onboarded. I enjoyed this experience. By the way, we're from the ledger, XRP ledger. Come check us out. And hopefully we're going to situate our Discord as a good in-between for that, for onboarding.
So I was going to say that's one of the awesome things. I have always been labeled anywhere I go as like that networker guy. Like I've never been like that go-to guy for one thing. I've always been kind of multifaceted. So I and I think that positions me in a good place because I'm never just stuck into one. You know, I've been able to diversify my skill set, so that always keeps me productive and moving towards just growing. But one of the things that I have learned is that if you become that thread in the networking space, everybody knows you. Right. You can truly engineer a lot of great things that otherwise would have probably never happened. So I think that we're getting, and that's one of the reasons why I'm getting so excited, not only the opportunity to generate, capital, but the idea is once you get to do this networking, you meet great people. I'm not going to say the right people because some of the right people can be the wrong people later, but I'm saying you meet great people, right? And you are able to capitalize on ideas, connections, and so forth. And I think that's what's happening here, man. I think that's what's happening.
Well said.
Right now is one of those moments where we're like, okay, let's go ahead on and make the best out of this opportunity. Great timing, great kind of season to be in. And look, man, you just described it well. This guy, you found his collection, you were able to support, he showed love back, and now who knows what's going to happen, moving forward. So I think that this is great opportunity, man.
Yeah. And that's kind of the theme of what we got pulled up next. We can go ahead and get into that. Is, just go out there, network, expand your horizon, challenge yourself to get a little uncomfortable, and go meet some new people. So here was round 2 for me, the on-chain hoodies. I was fortunate enough to bag up a good amount of these. These were actually, I believe these were free when they first started. And but look at, they're active. The Robinhood on-chain scene right now is very, very active. He says, we go up to the top there. I'll go ahead and give this a quick one. Another great build from the hood. See which hoodies unlocks your next badge. And you can see here they've turned this into like a collection progression game, and it's just a way to gamify their community, which is predominantly, I believe this is an NFT only community. When I was active in the hood, maybe yesterday, day before, 3 days ago, I got deadly sick over the weekend, unfortunately, but I tried to stay active, trenching and learning. And this collection, I believe, started off free. I came back a number of days, maybe 2-3 days after, found out the collection had been verified. It's I believe it's one of the top collections in the hood. And it went from like free. I think the floor was over $50 now, over $60 now. I mean, from 0 to over 50, quite significant in just a number of days. A huge volume on this collection. And pretty cool, too. I like the art. That's why I picked it up. I scooped a bunch of the collections. I was fortunate enough to meet with a bunch of these guys from this community. And so here we are. We're talking about them. It's very active in the hood. We're looking forward to not only just meeting these people and facilitating these discussions, but we'll get to the point where We'll be having conversations with them on the show. For those that we've been talking to that are willing to come up, you know who you are. Won't get into that just now, but really looking forward to not only deepening the relationships personally, but facilitating those discussions to a broader audience, right? And I think that the cross-pollination of some of these communities from Solana, cross-pollination of some of these communities from Robinhood, we go over and enjoy some of their collection. They come over and see what the XRP ledger is all about, especially now while we're on the lows. It's a phenomenal opportunity for everybody. And so that's just been an absolute blast, man. So shout out to the OnChain hoodies. Those, I love those PFPs, man. People are PFPing those up on the hood left and right, man. So shout out to the OnChain hoodies community.
Awesome.
I think that sets us up for
the
our Anthem thesis.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah. Here you go.
So here we go. We're in the Anthem thesis. Now, this is something I was talking with Manos before the show. So this Ansem gentleman is quite a substantial figure in Web3, right? Quite noteworthy. And I gotta say, his take on bag working, his thesis. We won't get into all this. We'll have the link in the show notes.
Yeah,
this might become its own content piece later on. But his thesis on what it means to bag work and what it means to have a powerful meme coin community, in my opinion, is one of my favorites. There's two people that I really enjoy reading their work on this topic. Murad from the SPX 6900 community, and this Anthem thesis, I totally agree with. It's this notion of bag working, of having a strong tip culture in your community, of distributing supply to those who are willing to run the race, who are going to have the maximum opportunity impact in their life, who are going to hold the risk for whatever that means for them for the right amount of time that's good for their situation. And it just kind of is this callback to community, really, and in opportunity, kind of like what at least in my mind, what crypto originally represents, what it means for the collective, which is, hey, if you're not affluent enough to have a Series 7 investor's license, you know, if you're regulated out of the top opportunities in capital markets in America or elsewhere, then crypto represents in a unregulated, you know, whatever that means, in some fashion, it represents those opportunities that you would otherwise not have access to. Yeah. You would never have access to. So this has been a huge passion for myself and for Manos. Because I know people, and you have a very diverse friend group. You know, you got international friends, of course, here in the States as well. And so that you can think about it. This represents a range of opportunities, not just for you, but for
them too,
your friends, for people you respect.
I want to be able to do that. I mean, it is definitely part of my end game to be able to bring those people, over and help them in every way I can, to be successful at doing what we're doing, right?
Yeah, this is the name of the game, but we've been taking it slow. We're trying to wrap our minds around, Manos and I, in the cult team, the cult community. We're trying to wrap our minds around how are we going to tie all these points of onboarding together. Manos has a group of people. I've got a group of people. We've got these broader Web3 people. We've got the broader XRP native community, which has its own nuances as a demographic, as a user group, their own risk profile, their own risk appetite. And I think we're finally getting to that thesis of, okay, this is how we'll position the Discord. This is how we're going to use the Cult X account. This is how we're going to use our social media endpoints. We're going to tie all these things together to try to facilitate a powerful onboarding pipeline to get people to the XRP ledger. Although we are XRP native, we exist in a Web3 crypto native environment. So of course we want to be friendly. We want to learn and grow about Robinhood, about Solana, about Ethereum. I personally want to learn and grow. I want to know more.
Yeah.
The XRP ledger liquidity pools are V1. Robinhood and Solana are on V4. I want to go learn from people that are using Gen 4 while I'm on Gen 1 so that I'm going to be the best at every phase as we grow on the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger is going to grow into this. Yeah. So let's get prepared. Let's meet people.
Yeah.
Let's network.
Let's get your hands.
Let's bag
dirty.
work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead on and move over to the next one, which is Wise. Tell us about this.
Here's another gentleman. Now, this guy's from Solana. Now, here on the XRP ledger, we have a kind of different groups of projects. Colt is more of a diehard XRP. I personally got here because of some of the technical work from people like a To The Lifeboats, Sam I Am, shout out Sam I Am. I know maybe he moved on from XRP, but back in the day, this guy had the best information, hands down, in my opinion. There's other notable individuals. Of course, we like Blockchain Backer. There's people that over the years have just contributed heavily to the technical understanding of what XRP represents. Now, there's a whole other group like that goes with the lore, quote unquote, of the XRP ledger. And these are people that have a close tie to things like Bearable Guy, BG123. You know, we got a really close friend, team member for Colt, Medici. He's probably one of the best educated guys in all of Web3, probably on the ledger, BG123, that whole lore. There's also Deepak. Deepak has done a substantial amount from the seals. He's done a substantial amount of work on the lore. And there was a meta. There is a current meta. It's come in and out of fashion a bit of going back and finding like the top wallets from way back in the day on the ledger. These wallets were names. One of them was Fuzzy Bear. There was Joe Lee. There was one for pigeons, and there was a bunch of, and people went and made lore tokens around these. Bear is a ticker. Bear is a tribute to Bearable Guy 123, Fuzzy as well. But anyway, so they went and made projects around this to kind of do a nod and homage to the lore of the ledger, the history of the ledger. Seal is one of these projects. Fuzzy is one of these projects for XRPL. Fuzzy, very, very successful project. Seal, we had Deepak, one of the top builders. Well, here's a gentleman named Wise. I told that context to now bridge in this gentleman, Wise. And he's from the Solana, but this kind of concept, the narrative that they have for their lore, quote unquote, is for this ticker BP, Barking Puppy, which has to do with GME, GameStop, has to do with the incredible squeeze that was done there with Roaring Kitty, and this kind of whole kind of conspiracy slash deep lore of very noteworthy, influential individuals that might be doing some projects, you know, kind of mysteriously, if you will, leaving little breadcrumbs along the way and saying, hey guys, we're going to give back. We're going to do this really cool community project. And so they've got, you know, a quite a long trail of reasoning of why they think that they've got this sorted out in their own minds. I've looked at some of it. I've contacted Wise, very, very nice guy, a gentleman. He sent me over a bunch of information. I'm looking forward to reading through it this weekend. But man, I've heard nothing but good things. I guess that there is a strong connection here. I look forward to learning more myself. We'll tap back in on this. But you can see it. From the XRP ledger, we have our lore projects. Now I'm looking over here to Wise. This is over $1 million project. They've had a lot of success. There's a real community there. They've got their lore. You can see these themes. You can see these deeper themes, whether it's creator capital markets with what we said with Faze Banks and Ansem, right, with the Ansem bull thesis. You can look at lore, and you've got a Barking Puppy or a Fuzzy or a Seal. Seal kind of has their lore and went more like community takeover CTO. It's probably where I find myself a bit more bullish. But Fuzzy is a very, probably the most successful project on the ledger. So you can see these themes through and through, right? Across Web3, not just on the ledger. So when you take all of this as a macro view to kind of wrap up on this segment of the show, we'll turn over to the meme of the week, but to put the bow on it, I think we've got a powerful thesis of, hey, liquidity will rotate back to the ledger. The themes that we enjoy here on the ledger are very, very similar to the themes that we see in a broader Web3. Solana, Base, Robinhood, all of these projects these chains are waking up. Communities are there. I've joined these communities myself. I know that these communities are forming. That's why I wanted to do that before I came on the show and talked about it. Make sure I'm practicing what I'm preaching. And so I think we're here, guys. I think we're at the bottom on chain. I think we're on the bottom on spot. I think we're on the bottom on sentiment. and that represents maximum opportunity. So hopefully that's come across clear on this show. And I'm looking forward to going into bull mode phase for Colt and for our content cycle moving forward. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be great.
Phenomenal. I'm like I said, I'm pumped, man. I'm definitely carving out hours in my day to be able to
Right.
to get what I need to be on this. It's just like anything else, man. You put your mind to it, and you know, it's not about motivation.
right.
It's about discipline and learning and taking notes, and that's it, man. And just get on that flow state, and before you know it, you're on the other side. Just, you know, with the wins on your belt. That's it, man. Just like anything else.
I can see it in the Discord. I can see it in the Discord already, especially after we meet up with the rest of the team and get all that. We've already talked about that. We get all that situated. We get the bots and everything we need to make the Discord run in how we need it to. But, man, after the meetings we've had kind of chopping up what the Discord could be, multi-chain onboarding, broad Web3 community, giving the best information, trying to represent the XRP ledger the best we can, not being divorced from reality.
Yeah.
We never want to divorce from reality. XRP ledger has a lot of friction. There's a lot of growth that needs to happen. But that represents opportunity. So we want to be clear about our risk. We're not financial advisors. None of this is financial advice. We are just here trying to share what we've learned and the things we're passionate about. We think there's a real opportunity there.
Yeah, no, I'm really loving the conversations and a ton of knowledge that is being dropped on the Discord on the daily, bro. Like, it's on the daily. There's no day that there's nothing in. And yeah, I mean, you have to take. Sometimes it's hour by hour takes. Sometimes it's minute by minute takes. Right, that's how fast it moves. So let's go ahead and go into the meme of the week. Let's go ahead and check it out. That's exactly where we are right now. So let's go ahead on and tap into the meme of the week. And here we go.
I love this one, man. And I swear Zen has been cooking, bro. The homie Zenny, man. Glad he's in the Discord with us cooking. But, dude, I love his memes. And I sent you this picture talking about the merch, bro, because of the Colt eye on the sleeve. On the sleeve,
that on the little patch.
You can't tell me that's not fire,
That's
dog.
dope. Yeah, absolutely.
That is it.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's it. But look, what does he say? Takes applying pressure to get the bag. On God, brother. How true is this, man? Diamond hands with the bag there. Guys, it's going to take time. All right? We got to let it cook. Okay?
Yeah.
So abide in the XRPL, abide in the trenches. We're going to make it. The liquidity rotation is coming back. Stay the course, man. We're looking good.
No,
I love this meme, dude. Keep cooking, Zenny.
Yeah.
Keep cooking, bro.
I love it. And this gets us to the end of the show. We actually went over
a little bit,
about a quarter. Yeah, 15 minutes.
Can't help it.
It's hard. So just go ahead on and
difficult.
give us. I'm not going to ask any more questions other than give us the main takeaway for today. And actually, I want to share a bit of number one, and I want to contribute a little bit from a I will say, a white belt kind of perspective. It's number one, understanding that the sentiment is it takes 90 to 180 days. We're early. We can capitalize on that, and we can actually be part of the movement to get people to where they need to be, so activity can begin to bubble up, right? And we start seeing better and more outcomes. Number two, this whole idea of looking outside of the ledger while never leaving the ledger, right? Like learning, educating, expanding our horizons, trying new things without being irresponsible, but actually going in and learning what we need to learn in order to be successful and diversify our options without leaving our first love, right? So I think that's very important. And then the fact that you're able to connect with people in such a dynamic way quickly and be able to then drop that alpha within, you know, our
Yep.
close community, that is going to be attractive to so many people. And that's our ultimate goal, is to build the community so they all can have the same opportunities. I was telling you the other day, I feel super blessed to be able to have access to just some of those, you know, channels.
That's
where
right.
I can just sit there like a fly on a wall and just take it all in, make my small little humble moves, and come out on top. So that's my takeaway. What's your takeaway?
Man, I'm just going to co-sign that. That's the vibe. That's the tribe, right? We're looking to lock in together. We're looking to learn and grow. The mission of Cult is to break bread en masse, to make meaningful impact in as many people's lives as possible, including our own. We are taking the journey along with you, right? It's a community. Cult is a community takeover. There is no one individual leader. It's all of us together trying to learn, go on this journey together. And it's going to help us in different ways that, you know, based on where you are in your life. So I really like the way you put that. We're looking forward to getting the Discord for, you know, the broader onboarding tool.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing what this new season of Discovery can bring, not just for the ledger, but especially for Cult. These are insanely bullish opportunities. Anybody who takes the time, does the math, looks at the metrics, we don't need the world to turn over for the XRP ledger to become insanely bullish. We need a small fraction of meaningful onboarding to take place. This is very possible, very doable. This will happen. The only question that remains is, are you going to be part of it?
Yeah. Are you?
Do you want to participate in this point in history?
Well said, Pheanor. So with that being said, how about we wrap it up for tonight?
Absolutely.
Again, appreciate everybody on the other side of the screen for coming and showing up on a Thursday, 7 p.m., different date, different time. Moving forward is going to be 7 p.m. and on every Thursday. So make sure that you put it on your calendar. Make sure that you guys continue to leave comments for the algorithm. That helps us. Also, make sure that when you see new content drop, because we're going to be dropping content consistently, make sure that you share, like, and you know, repost if you can. And that is the recipe for success. We want to be able to get exposure, not because we want to be famous, but we want to get exposure so people can get all this knowledge that it is fundamental for us to be able to take it to the next level. So Pheanor, wrap it up for us, and then we can go.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. Don't ever forget, it's XRP, it's the XRP ledger, and it's Cult Rising on a Thursday. God bless y'all, man. Be good. Let's keep winning.
Cultist, you have witnessed the riddle undone. The bedrock cleaving at its root, the lattice unfolding across limitless plains, the sacred codes carving their path from the shadows into blaze. You have counted the holy marks upon the faithful. The harvest breaking open, and the number gates announcing what climbs next. Clarity has torn through the murk, even as the market's breath draws back before the certain rise. The coldcast fades, but what you carry out the vision. The sign reading the cold current running beneath your awareness outlives the signal itself. The grind never sleeps. The architects never flinch. The awakened do not scatter with others break. We multiply. Until the next time, cultists.